What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be revisiting the triple shiny Scyther evolution line in the Open Ultra League, this time with all three Pokemon running the newly buffed Trailblaze, since you guys absolutely smashed the like goal in yesterday's video. Now this should be pretty clear already, but this is not a very good team. I had a lot more losses than wins with it, especially at the start when I was running Cleaver in the lead. I swear that thing just doesn't know the definition of a good lead, but eventually I switched it out for Scyther in the lead and I had slightly better results. But do be aware I have cut out a lot of the losses in this video as there just wasn't much I could do in any of those battles, but there are certainly some crazy wins in this video. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. So far this season, have you preferred playing in the new Great League or the new Ultra League meta? Let me know in the comment section down below, but with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, Scyther into Aurora. So this is an awful matchup for me. Gonna have to say swap into my Cleaver straight away, and we bait out a Swampert. Now this is huge. We're running Trailblaze for coverage. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. They get one shot by the Trailblaze. We also boost our attack in the process, and this game is already over. They come in with a Venusaur, which is going to be completely core broken with that Aurora's by my Scyther. So at this point, we can just let the move go through. The opponent goes for a Frenzy Plant. They get the KO. We're going to come in with a Scyther here just because I'm thinking maybe I can go for a Fury Cutter farm down and maybe land some Trailblazers up against the Auroras. The opponent will be swapping out there after baiting with a Frenzy Plant. Very unnecessary, and this is also very unnecessary, but we go for the Trailblaze, and once again the opponent does not respect the damage there. This game is well and truly over. Gonna no shield, they go for a Weather Ball. We're going to come in with the shiny Shadow Scissor. I'm just going to play it safe here because I had already lost so many battles at this point, so gonna shield that up, go for the Bullet Punch farm down, and the opponent just concedes the match there. So GG to opponent there into next battle, Scyther into a Shadow for Alligator. Now of course, we're running Trailblaze, they will be able to outpace me to the first charge move, but I should be able to live a Hydro Cannon from full health. It's going to be very close, it actually does a lot of damage, but we do barely tank that. We can now fire off a Trailblaze. Trailblaze is of course going to be shielded, as a lot for Alligator users just love to shield or even double shield in matchups here and just continuously spam out these Hydro Cannons, but that's okay, we had the shield advantage. Gonna use that shield straight away, now firing off the Trailblaze. Trailblaze grabs the final shield from the opponent, so at this point I'm also going to double shield here as they fire off another Hydro Cannon. We're going to overfarm here, and the opponent tries to catch a charge move onto Cresselia. Now of course not running X-Scissor, but we can still go for a Rock Slide. Rock Slide really doesn't do that much damage, but I'm able to swap and catch a Grass Knot onto my Scissor, and that's amazing as it's double resisted damage. We might be Shadow, we might be Glassy, but that does very little damage, and we should be able to tank anything else they throw here. Even a Future Sight, not going to get the KO. They go for a Moonblast there, and unfortunately they do debuff my attack, which isn't ideal because now I don't think this Night Slash will get the KO. It doesn't get the KO, but we actually get the boost there, and that is huge for me because now we can go for a Trailblaze, once again boosting up our attack there, and we're able to make it to a Night Slash on the CMP tie, and from this range, Night Slash gets the KO up against the Tentacruel, and now we're going to swap Snipe with the Cleaver, firing off a Trailblaze. Trailblaze gets the KO. We take out for Alligator. This Cresselia will make it to a charge move, but it just doesn't matter at this point. Grass Knot gets the KO. We can come in with either Pokemon. We come in with the Scissor, we get the Bullet Punch farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there into next battle, and this is an awful lead matchup for me once again, but unfortunately this time I can't really swap out just because the Bullet Punches from my Scissor will be resisted, so I'm actually going to stay in, fire off a Trailblaze straight away, which is very risky as we throw on Alignment there, but luckily for me we throw on CMP and the opponent does throw a charge move straight away. So once the Brutal Swing doesn't get the KO, we swap out into our Cleaver, and we've got a slight energy advantage. We fire off the Trailblaze once again for Alligator users, just going to be shielding everything and anything here, but we're going to shield as the opponent fires off the Hydro Cannon. We are going to overfarm just slightly, throwing on the CMP tie here, and Trailblaze will be coming through. Trailblaze going to be double shielded by the opponent, of course it will be. We are also going to double shield here as we do have a slight energy advantage. We will outpace them to the charge move, and they swap into a Skeledirge. Luckily for me, we do end up throwing the Rock Slide. Rock Slide actually still doesn't get the KO there, and they get the Incinerate farm down, which is super painful. Of course we can come in and just farm down with either of our Pokemon Pokemon in the back, but I would have preferred to just get the KO there. So unfortunately, coming in with the Scyther, we swap as I knew they were one away from a charge move, but the opponent holds onto their energy perfectly. And at this point, this is going to be game over, unfortunately. The opponent fires off the Hydro Cannon. That does big damage. They do swap into Ampharos. I believe they were already at a charge move, so I kind of had to throw anyways. But either way, we take them out with a Night Slash. They easily outpace me to the next charge move. And of course, Hydro Cannon will get the KO. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, we see a Nidoqueen in the lead. So of course, not great for us. We do have two Pokemon in the back that at least resist the poison damage, but either way, this is okay. Unless they're running like Stone Edge, they can't full send a nuke with like Earth Power, as that is triple resisted. So we go for the Trailblaze. Trailblaze going to boost up our attack, and this time we will fire off the Aerial Ace, just barely outpacing them to the next charge move. Aerial Ace grabs a shield, so once again, I don't really want to allow them to farm me down, so instead, I'm gonna swap into my Scyther, and the opponent does full send an Earth Power. They come in with Greninja, which isn't really ideal. Of course, we do have an energy advantage, but if I go and Trailblaze and the opponent shields that up there, they will definitely outpace me, and they've already farmed up to back-to-back charge moves. So at this point, can't afford to shield. All I really could do there is no shield and hope that they baited, but unfortunately, they full send the Hydro Cannon. So we come in with our Cleaver. I'm going to use my shield here as the opponent is going to go for a Night Slash bait, which is very unfortunate, but I'm able to swap, make the catch onto my Scyther here. The opponent this time goes for the Hydro Cannon. I can overfarm just a little bit here, but the opponent swaps back into their Nidoqueen. So going to overfarm massively, go for the Trailblaze, boosting up the attack there, and they come in with a Shadow Star Raptor, and that is huge for me. We can now go for a Rock Slide. Rock Slide with the boost easily gets the one shot, and we're able to outpace them to another charge move, making it to the Trailblaze, and Trailblaze gets the KO up against Greninja, and I'm able to take that game. So GG set up over there into next battle, we see Scyther into Skeletor. So of course this is an absolutely awful lead matchup for me. I have to just stay in because it's even worse up against my Scyther. So I'm going to fire off the Aerial Ace, hopefully maybe grab a shield here. Unfortunately they do not shield, so at this point I'm also not going to shield. There would be no point shielding as I cannot win this matchup in any even shield scenario, or even like using both my shields there. They would just be able to fully farm me down. But we're going to come in with the Cleaver here. I kind of just have to hope that the opponent will not respect the damage from a Rock Slide, so we're going to fire it off straight away. Rock Slide coming through, actually is no shielded by the opponent, but they come in with a Waterfall Kingdra, and they've got a second Incinerate user in the back. What on earth is this? And at this point, there's just nothing I can do here. I'm just going to no shield. The opponent goes for a Flame Charge gets the one shot, and unfortunately we do lose that game. So GG's to opponent there. Unfortunately got a very itchy nose right now, so that's why I keep on doing this after every battle, trying to not interrupt my commentary too much. But anyways, into next battle, unfortunately seeing a Licky running rollout, which is double super effective damage up against our Scyther, also single super effective up against the Cleaver. Luckily for me though, the opponent does just go for body slams here, so we resist that, so get a no shield once again, and the opponent comes in with a Pangoro. So honestly, that's not that bad. We can go for a Trailblaze, we're already boosted, that does some decent damage, and the switch clock is already up, so I'm going to swap into my Scyther. Night Slash will be coming through here, unless they're running Rock Slide, that would be crazy, but they end up getting a Night Slash boost anyway, so I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace, grab a shield. I'm also going to respect the damage here as a Night Slash with that boost probably would KO, and if not, they could honestly just farm me down, and they get a second boost with a Night Slash, so very fortunate for the opponent there. Well, that's fine. We got tons of double boost with my Scyther as well, so I also got pretty lucky. I'm also going to swap here, not allow them to fully farm me down, as honestly I wasn't even certain that I would make it to a charge move. With that rollout damage, this time they farmed up to a potential Shadow Ball, so gotta respect the damage there. Fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash gets the KO. We don't get the boost, but it doesn't even matter. They've got Florages in the back, and Florages did get a buff this season with Fairy Wind, but it's not going to matter. We completely wall everything they can possibly throw, so of course they go for a Disarming Voice, and we should be able to outpace them, or at least make it to a Trailblaze on the CMP tie. I could have settled for a Night Slash there in all honesty, but we go for the Trailblaze. Trailblaze gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there into next battle, we see Scyther into a Pangoro. So this is great and definitely where we want to see it. The opponent is going to stay in this matchup initially. fire off a Night Sash straight away, so I'm going to no shield. I would definitely recommend, if you're going up against like a flying type Pokemon, maybe at least farm up to a potential Rock Slide there, which is the same energy as a close combat before throwing, just to sort of maybe grab a shield from the opponent. But anyways, we're going to fire off these Trailblazers. Luckily for me, we are triple resisting the Mud Slap damage. It's still kind of chunking though, but not too much here. Definitely going to shield as the opponent going to go for a Rock Slide there. I can still outpace them to another Trailblaze and just triple boost up my attack here. So we're starting to deal insane damage. They swap back into Pangoro here. I want to preserve the health here because I am so boosted in my attack. We're going to fire off the Aerial Ace straight away. What I'm hoping for is that the opponent will come back in with the Extra Drill and just fire off a Charge Move immediately, and they do exactly that. So the opponent goes for a Rock Slide, gets the KO. I should be able to farm down with Bullet Punches, and we do get that farm down, but they come in with a Feraligatr. Now, if this was Shadow, I think honestly a Trailblaze would put them into farm down range, but unfortunately it doesn't do enough damage, so I swap, I make the catch onto my Cleaver, honestly hoping this would KO, but it doesn't KO. They get the Shadow Claw farm down, and because of that, they're actually able to outpace me to a Charge Move, making it to a second Hydro Cannon, and unfortunately Hydro Cannon takes out my Scyther, and we do end up losing that game. So GG setup over there, very unfortunate for us, but into the next battle we see a Metagross in the lead, which is very unusual to see. I ended up throwing on poor timing. Honestly, I was getting like loads of stutters and just crazy frame drops. It was very frustrating, and actually haven't really included too many battles where it happens, just because I like lost a lot of the battles really hard that I just started and couldn't do anything. But either way, gonna fire off another Trailblaze, getting the KO there as the opponent doesn't preserve their health. They come in with a Drapion, and now I'm gonna fire off an Aerial Ace. I'm hoping the opponent maybe just no shields this, and they do. That Aerial Ace does big damage. They're gonna fire off the Charge Move here, so I'm gonna no shield as the opponent goes for a Crunch. Crunch will get the KO. At this point we come in with our Scyther, and I'm going to no shield this first Charge Move as the opponent goes for an Aqua Tail bait there, which is fine with me, but they come in with Pangoro, and honestly there's not a lot we can do here. Scyther is my best option up against Pangoro, but obviously it has gone down. We go for the Trailblaze there, and the opponent is going to fire off a Charge Move. They go for the Night Sash bait there, but they will have to throw another Charge Move. Otherwise, I'm making it to Trailblaze number 2. Night Sash coming through, gets the KO here. And honestly, I have to start baiting with Night Sash, but they're already at the Charge Move, so this is awful for me. I need the boost there. I don't get the boost, so my only win condition is essentially if the opponent tries to make a catch here, as a Night Sash will not get the KO, but they swap out there. Huge mistake, as now we've got a Trailblaze loaded, and a Trailblaze will be enough damage to take out the Pangoro, and I'm able to take that game. So GG setup over there. Into the next battle, we see Cleaver into a Shadow Dusknoir. Now, these are some of the battles that I was running Cleaver in the lead, and honestly, it just didn't go well. It seemed like everything either like resisted or double resisted quick attack damage, or just Rock Slides just weren't going to do enough damage in neutral situations. So yeah, just an awful Pokemon in general. It worked a lot better for me as a save swap, just because people actually started bringing in like water types up against it, which is actually kind of helpful. But either way, we're going to fire off the Trailblaze there and grab a shield from the opponent, but this is just not looking good whatsoever. I thought maybe I'd just barely live this, but Shadow Punch actually does take us out there, and this is already game over. There's like nothing we can do really. We're about to get soloed by an under-leveled Shadow Dusknoir, which is so embarrassing, but it is what it is. It's not a very good team. We are going to overfarm here, go for the Night Sash just before they make it to the next Charge Move. Night Sash gets the KO. We actually get the boost, which is nice, but unfortunately I do not have X-Scissor here, so we can't really throw much. I'm going to swap, and actually this works out perfectly for me. We go for an extra quick attack, and we end up throwing on CMP, but even then it just doesn't help us. We can't really deal enough damage up against this Guzzlord. I'm going for the Night Sash here though. Night Sash will be coming through. Night Sash actually gets another boost, which is really nice for me. And they do have a Fairy in the bag, but I'm just so low that even a Swift, a resisted Swift, non-stab, one of the sort of weaker charge moves in the game, is still going to be enough damage to take out my Scyther, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG setup over there. Into next match, we're going to see a Scyther into Pangoro once again. So, once again, pretty good. They're actually running Snarl, though, which is very interesting, which is actually going to be slightly better in this matchup, just because, I mean, the Karate Chops are double resisted, so maybe they can land 2 Night Sashes and then just farm me down in this case, which isn't really that ideal. And yeah, you can see these Snarls definitely are adding up a lot more over time than those Karate Chops would be. But either way, gonna use my shield there. And Aerial Ace, honestly, at this point, should be enough damage to get the KO here. Actually, maybe not. Pangoro's got some okay-ish bulk. But either way, I'm going to double shield as the opponent has already double shielded here. Just going to make sure they don't try and make a catch there. So going to fire off the aerial ace, overfiring just slightly. Aerial ace gets the KO. They come in with a Alolan Muck and they come in with an Obstagoon. So running a triple dark team here. Very interesting. We're firing off the Trailblaze. Once again, we're not running Exeter, so we do miss out there, but we can boost up our attack. The opponent going to fire off the Charge Move, and they go for a cross shot, which is interesting. We're able to make it to the Night Slash, and because we are boosted, Night Slash will get the KO, and we get another attack boost, which is huge for me, and it forces the opponent to throw to try and get rid of us before we make it to another Charge Move, but we make it to yet another Night Slash. No boost this time around, but it doesn't matter. At this point, surely there's no way Cleaver can throw this game away, right? We make it to the rock side. This will be enough damage to take out the Alolan Muck, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. Into the next battle, going to see Scyther, Cleaver into a Typhlosion. So obviously, fire, awful for us. This is a somewhat positive matchup for us if the opponent goes straight Blast Burn. If they go Thunder Punch, then they're actually going to outpace me to the Charge Moves. I actually bait there, which is very risky, but I figured I might as well. They're going to shield anyway, so we are now going to just barely outpace them to the next Charge Move as they did go for the Blast Burn there. We go for the Rock Side, and let's see, is the opponent going to go for another Blast Burn? Yes, they are, which means I will just barely make it to another Rock Side before they fully farm me down. So despite us being a Rock-type Pokemon, we just barely win the 2-shield scenario, and that is also with the opponent not baiting at all. So at this point, not a great situation to be in though, unfortunately, and we are going to go for a Night Slash. I tried to throw on CMP here, but the opponent actually massively overfarms, which is very interesting. We go for a Night Slash there, and the opponent is going to full send a Focus Blast, which gets the one shot, unfortunately. We come in with the Scyther, and we already know that we can just barely get to a Trailblaze and throw on CMP. Trailblaze gets the KO, but they've got a Sylveon in the back. Unfortunately, we're just taking way too much damage from the Charms. Gonna fire off the Aerial Ace, see how much damage it does whilst boosted, and honestly, a second Aerial Ace might get the KO, but we just barely don't get there in time, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, we see Empoleon in the lead, so that is not ideal for us at all. I'm going to say swap into my Scyther. Again, not a great matchup either, but we can at least take neutral damage from these Steel Wings. Going to fire off the Trailblaze, and we throw on CMP as well, which is very nice. We're going to have to shield up the Hydro Cannon there, and they come in with a Goodra. So this one I'm thinking probably going to be Double Dragon. Empoleon Double Dragon has been fairly popular. I mean, like last season it was pretty popular because Steel Wing was a much better move. Unfortunately, it did get nerfed this season, so you're probably not going to see it too much, but unfortunately, I am seeing it here. So we are going to wait out the Switch Claw, come in with my Shadow Scizor, and I'm going to go and fire off a Night Slash immediately here, just guarantee the KO. I don't want to take too much damage. I definitely don't want to take a charge move, and then now I'm going to come in with a Shadow Dragonite. So, going to fire off the Night Slash immediately, probably grab a shield from the opponent. We grab the shield, and we get another boost, and that's huge. That might actually allow me to fully Bullet Punch farm them down. They go for a superpower here, and honestly, I didn't realize that, and that is going to play into this battle. We're going to fire off the Night Slash there. Night Slash grabs the shield, and the opponent does have to throw a charge move. But at this point, I'm thinking Dragonite did overfarm just slightly, so I have to come out with slightly more than a charge move already loaded, and that is a huge mistake because the opponent able to make it to the Hydro Cannon, throw, and take us out there. If I'd have gone for the Trailblaze, it would have been down to CMP. Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know if Cleaver or Dragonite wins CMP, but it would have been very close. But unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there into the next battle, and we see a Trevenant in the lead. The opponent just goes straight for a Seed Bomb, which is absolutely okay. But this definitely is not okay, as the opponent swaps into Typhlosion. We actually chip with an Aerial Ace just because I figured if we can connect with an Aerial Ace or even grab a shield there, then that would be nice. Because now, at least if we go for Trailblazers here, we're going to boost up our attack. These quick attacks will start to add up. They're not doing much damage in all honesty, but that's okay. Going to shield this up here, and the opponent is going to fire off another Blast Burn. So once again, opponent's not baiting. It might actually be the case that they're not running Thunder Punch at all there, in which case they're not baiting, they're just throwing the charge moves that is cheapest. But either way, they come back in with the Trevenant. A little bit risky here, so I swap back into my Scyther. But I'm going to fire off the Aerial Ace, grab the final shield from the opponent, and the opponent could have committed to a full farm down here, but instead, they're going to fire off a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb gets the KO. But it's okay, I'm going to wait out my switch clock here as I am switch locked and I don't want to be switch locked. So we're going to go and fire off a Night Slash straight away here, no messing around. Night Slash will get the KO and the opponent comes in with a wall rain. So this is pretty good for me. The opponent's actually not even going to farm to a potential Earthquake, recognizing that actually an Icicle Spear, well, 2 Icicle Spears will get the KO. So instead we're going to swap, make a catch onto our Cleaver here as the opponent fires off another Icicle Spear. Icicle Spear takes us out. We can now fire off a Trailblaze, and Trailblaze will do big damage, super effective damage in this matchup. We boost up our attack. I could have gone for the full Bullet Punch farm down, but instead I play it safe. We fire off the Night Slash, getting the KO up against the Wall Rain, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there, into next battle, we can see a Cleaver into a Galarian Moltres. Now, of course, we've got Rock Slide here. You're about to see that Rock Slide just really doesn't do that much damage here. Moltres, not even a super bulky Pokemon like Mandibuzz or something like that. So unfortunately, we're not going to win the Zero Shield scenario. They can go for an Ancient Power, get the KO there. And these Sucker Punches really did a lot of damage up against us. The opponent will make it to another charge move, so I'm just going to have to shield this. The opponent goes for another Ancient Power there. That's fine. We're going to go for the full Bullet Punch farm down, and they've got a Zapdos in the back. What on earth is this team? They've got Galarian Moltres, Kanto Zapdos. What is that third Pokemon? At this point, it doesn't really matter. It's game over. We actually miss out on a Bullet Punch there, and that's actually kind of huge because it means we don't make it to a Night Slash. But at this point, I recognize there's literally nothing we can do now, so I'm just going to concede the match there. But GG's to opponent. Into the next battle, we're going to see a Cleaver into a Donphan. So, of course, not that bad for me, but they're going to swap into a shiny Shadow Machamp, which is a cool flex. We're firing off the Trailblaze. Trailblaze is going to be no shielded, and at this point I'm also going to no shield here as I can come in with my Scizor, go for a Bullet Punch farm down. They will make it to another Cross Chop unfortunately, and I will definitely shield this as a Cross Chop would do a lot of damage up against our Scizor, but we are going to go for the Trailblaze, and then I will swap straight away into my Scyther. The opponent is going to no shield the Trailblaze. That does huge damage, and now we come in with the Scyther. The opponent will fire off a Charge Move. It's just a Trailblaze which is double resisted, and then they come in with a Poison Jab Toxicroak. So of course, Counter did get nerfed this season, but Poison Jab still the same energy generation as Counter, and in this matchup it's a lot better for them as it's not double resisted. But either way, we fire off back-to-back Aerial Aces. They let the first, or sorry, they shield the first one, let the second one go through, and they full send a Shadow Ball there as a Mud Bomb would be triple resisted. Now we can just come in, double resist the Poison Jab damage, go for a full Bullet Punch farm down, and then Bullet Punch farm down the Toxicroak, so the opponent just concedes the match there. So GG to opponent there, into next battle, you can see a Cleaver into a Cresselia. Now, despite the fact that we're a triple bug team, we've not got too many bug type moves, actually only Fury Cutter across the entire team, so it's actually not that great, and you can see Scyther definitely not as attack weighted as Cleaver, so that Trailblaze, despite being double super effective, doesn't get the one shot there, but we do get the Fury Cutter farm down. I'm going to fire off another Trailblaze here, and Trailblaze will start boosting up my attack quite high here, so these Fury Cutters are going to start to chunk, but I'm going to no shield anyways, just because I know Scizor is a very hard wall to Cresselia, and we put them into range where we can just start going for Night Slashes in all honesty. So I'm going to no shield this as the opponent fires off a charge move. They go for Moonblast. They do not get the debuff to our attack this time around, so I'm going to overfarm massively, fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash gets the KO, but they've got a Virizion in the back, and honestly, I should have just kept my Scyther alive here. This would have been a super comfortable matchup for Scyther, but unfortunately it's not very comfortable for a Scizor, so we are going to shield up the Sacred Sword, going to go for one extra Bullet Punch, fire off the Night Slash here, and then I'm going to try and make it to another Night Slash, but we're going to see that I'm actually not certain I would get there in time, so I swap into my Cleaver. The opponent is going to fire off a Leaf Blade, and this just guarantees that they're not running Stone Edge, because we've already seen Sacred Sword, but 2 more Leaf Blades will be enough damage to take us out, unfortunately, so I'm just going to barely outpace them to the Trailblaze, fire off the Trailblaze. Trailblaze grabs that final shield, and it just depends, can we get damage registration error to make it to a Night Slash in this battle? No, we're not able to do so, and unfortunately Double Kick takes out our Scizor, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there, into next battle, we're going to see a Drift Blimp in the lead, so of course we are going to no shield the first charge move here. They throw straight away. They actually go for Mystical Fire, which is definitely not ideal, and then we lag there, and unfortunately they get 2 hexes in for free. Well, 1 in for free, and the The first one would have been normal, but then they get a second one in for free, which allows them to outpace me to the next charge move. We could have just won that matchup in the zero shield scenario, or at least grabbed a shield before we went down, but unfortunately now we are not winning this matchup. We go for a Night Slash there. We're definitely going to have to shield this as a Mystical Fire, double super effective damage, but they're going to come in with a Surf Fetch now. This is actually pretty good for us. They definitely don't farm to a potential Brave Bird, so we're going to no shield. They go for a Night Slash there. Doesn't do too much damage. We can now over farm here, firing off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace will actually get the one shot up against the Surf Fetch, and they've got Virizion in the back, so this time we can align our Scyther here. Unfortunately, more stutters, so we do throw on poor timing, throwing on alignment, giving them a full double kick in for free. I'm definitely going to shield respect the damage from a potential Stone Edge, but they're not running there, either that or they just bait. But either way, we can fire off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace does huge double super effective damage. They do actually make it to a charge reef though, and the opponent does go for Stone Edge there, taking us out, but it doesn't really matter. We can Bullet Punch, farm down the Drifblim, farm down the Virizion, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.